Let me ask you something. What if you're not as free as you think you are? Today, we're diving into a really powerful idea from the philosopher George Gurdjieff, this idea that most of us are being controlled by unseen forces. We're going to learn how to confront these inner tyrants.
So let's just start with a really direct question, and I want you to be honest with yourself for a second. Are you truly in control of your thoughts, your emotions, and your actions? Or does it sometimes feel like you're just a passenger, kind of being pulled along by currents you don't quite understand?
Well, Gurdjieff had a pretty startling answer to that question. He basically claimed that most of us are running on autopilot. We think we're making conscious choices, but what's really happening is we're just reacting based on all this deep-seated conditioning. It's a really challenging idea for sure, so let's unpack it.
To really get this, we first need to uncover the unseen forces that are at play. And look, this isn't a battle against anything in the outside world. The most important struggle, the real one, is happening inside each of us.
You know, we often think freedom means changing our jobs, our relationships, our external circumstances. But the real chance? They're often invisible. They're locked away in our own minds. This isn't a fight against other people. It's a battle for self-awareness and for control over our own inner world.
So Gurdjieff had a name for these unconscious forces. He called them the inner tyrants. Now, these aren't literal demons or anything. Think of them more like ingrained habits, these emotional reflexes that have just gotten so strong, they effectively rule our inner kingdom without our permission.
So what do these tyrants even look like? Well, they show up in a lot of different ways, but there are a few common characters. Let's meet the usual suspects and see if any of them sound a little familiar to you.
Do any of these ring a bell? You've got the critic, right? That nagging voice telling you you're just not good enough. Or how about the victim? The one that convinces you nothing is your fault and you're totally powerless. Then there's the pleaser, who is terrified of what other people think. The procrastinator, the absolute master of avoidance. And the controller, which just creates constant anxiety by trying to micromanage everything. Yeah, most of us have a few of these running the show.
But here is the crucial shift in perspective. This is so important. These forces, they might feel powerful, but they are not you. Just recognizing them is the first step. Think of them as just noisy passengers on your ship. You are the captain, and you can absolutely learn to take back the helm.
So how do you take back the helm? Well, it all starts with your greatest weapon, the power of self-observation. This was the #1 tool Gurdjieff taught for starting this whole journey to inner freedom.
And this is a really crucial distinction. We have to understand that self-observation is not the same thing as introspection. Introspection is when we get lost in the story, right? We analyze and we judge our thoughts, which actually just feeds the tyrants. Self-observation is completely different. It's about detached witnessing. You're just watching what's happening inside you, and that simple act creates this vital distance.
So, how do you actually do it? Well, the practice itself is pretty straightforward. Just pick a moment, any moment, like drinking your morning coffee. And then just notice. Notice your body, notice your emotions, notice the thoughts running through your head. Listen to it all, but without any judgment. Over time, I promise, you'll start to see the patterns. You'll see the tyrants in action.
Gurdjieff really emphasized that true self-observation means paying attention to 3 things all at once: your thoughts, your feelings, and your physical body. Think of them like 3 different streams of information. If you ignore one of them, you're creating a blind spot, and that's exactly where the tyrants love to hide.
Okay, so once you can actually see these tyrants clearly, you can start to reclaim your authority. So let's look at the strategies for actually dethroning them and taking back your inner throne for good.
The key strategy here is something called non-identification. It's the natural next step after observation. It means that when that inner critic starts its monologue, you can hear it without automatically believing it's true. When a wave of anxiety hits, you can feel it without becoming it. You just recognize it and go, that's just a tyrant making some noise.
And here's how you can practice this in real time. First, when you feel a strong reaction starting to bubble up, just pause. Take 1 conscious breath. That's it. Second, mentally label what you're observing. Say to yourself, that's the victim speaking. The simple act of labeling separates you from it. And finally, consciously shift your attention to something else. Your work, your surroundings, anything you choose.
A character in the source material Zoran captures this with such a powerful metaphor. He calls the effort it takes to stay present an alchemical flame. It's this fire that transforms the lead of your automatic reactions into the gold of a free, conscious will. This isn't about punishing yourself. It's about transformation.
All right, so this is not just theory. The final step is to actually put it all into practice. This is your call to action, the beginning of your own personal quest.
Here are a few dragon trials, as they're called, that you can start with today. For 1 week, just keep a simple log of which tyrant shows up throughout your day. Or you could try the resistance challenge, pick one small task you really hate doing, and just do it with total conscious focus. And finally, the non-identification breath. Whenever a big emotion shows up, take 3 deep breaths and just remind yourself, I am observing this. This entire journey, it really begins with a single step of awareness. So I'll leave you with this final and maybe most crucial question. Which of your inner tyrants will you choose to observe first? The critic? The procrastinator? For the first time, maybe, the choice is truly yours.